on a rainy morning, and as a Ghanaian, I understand that sometimes rain is part of our culture, in that we respect it so much that we want to sit back and relax. But we really appreciate you coming out and being here with us for this expo. Today, my topic for the speaking session is modeling international real estate practice. How international best practices have influenced the Ghanaian market or the Ghanaian laws on real estate, or how even currently the Ghanaian system needs to model after international best practices that we see on the global market. And so bear with me in the next 20 to 30 minutes as we take a deep dive, a little comparison about how the Ghanaian real estate market is currently or gradually being modeled after the international real estate market that we see in Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Asia, South America, and all that. So be with me in this simple and short presentation. Next slide, please. So I've divided this speaking session into four main ways: how the Ghanaian real estate market is being gradually modeled after the international real estate market. One, when it comes to our laws. How do Ghanaian laws on real estate model international best practices? Or how do we need to change our Ghanaian laws so that they reflect the better practices out there on the international market? The second way that we'll be looking at how we can model international real estate market is about our sale and commercial transactions. How we as Ghanaians on the real estate market organize our sale transactions, the kind of obstacles that we face, and what we think we can do to better those obstacles when we compare to how our international compatriots do theirs. Now, the third one would be focused on the maintenance culture. How Ghanaians can also apply or incorporate maintenance culture when it comes to real estate, and how we can also make sure that using maintenance culture, we get to even upgrade the value of the properties that we represent to have better clientele and then better sales in the future. And the final segment of the talk will be about taxes or cost. How generally Ghanaian authorities levy certain percentages on properties vis-a-vis what our European counterparts or even American counterparts have when you come to their market. And so next slide, please. So the first one that we'll be talking about today is the legal aspect. How do the Ghanaian laws that we have here, how have they been modeled after the international real estate market, and how are we planning to get onto a better grade when it comes to real estate? Now, one thing that I'm really proud of, and one thing that we see now in the new Real Estate Act, is how the Ghanaian authorities are now saying that you need to be a licensed real estate agent in order to practice. Frequently or normally or before the imposition of this act, anybody could get up and say, okay, I represent this property or I'm selling this property, and so are you interested? And what we saw was a lot of fraudulent activities, a lot of people posing as scams, selling people properties that do not even exist, or basically misrepresenting the kind of properties that they are even selling on the market. And so one main way that the Ghanaian law currently in the Real Estate Act has modeled international best practices when it comes to real estate is to make sure that we regularize the people that we call real estate agents, the people who are supposed to represent us in the market, by ensuring that every real estate agent here is licensed. They have a license and it's identifiable in the register. And so that's one way that we are trying to curb the kind of unregulated structure that we used to have here on the real estate market here in Ghana. And secondly, another way that our laws are representing our best international practice is how we are Ghanaians are recognizing that we are part of the UN Convention against Corruption, and even the African Union Convention against Corruption as well. And so it's important that we do everything we can to limit activities involving money laundering when it comes to real estate agencies. Most people hear real estate and then they think of, oh, it's an avenue to launder money. And so one way that the new laws in Ghana regulating real estate is saying that we should limit cash transactions when it comes to buying and selling of real estate. And so when you limit cash transactions and you make it digital, or maybe bank checks, you can easily track these transactions, and that enables the authorities to make sure that the kind of transactions we are having are genuine sale transactions and not simply ones that allow money laundering. And these are best practices that have been implemented for decades and even years now in Europe, like Germany, Spain, and France. And so you realize that Section 41 of the Act talks about how we need to limit physical cash when it comes to transactions and actually make more use of digital methods. And now in Ghana, everywhere is being digitized, where we have mobile money payments, where we have checks, international rounds being made through. And so that's another way that the Ghanaian real estate market is also modeling after the international real estate market. Now, next slide, please. When it comes to our sales and transactions, the 32nd president of the United States, he said it properly, that's Franklin D. Roosevelt. He said that real estate, it cannot be lost or it cannot be stolen, and that it's actually paid in full. What that signifies is that in every real estate transaction, somebody is out there giving out their hard-earned money, and they want correct value back. But what we see in the Ghanaian real estate market is that we have some obstacles that prevent people from actually getting the full value that they paid for or the full value that they are negotiating for. Next slide. One of those problems is about our land tenure system. Our chiefs are the main custodians of our land here in Ghana, and we see that we don't have digital maps to keep track of who owns this piece of land. And so you realize that our real estate systems are bedraggled with land litigation. And so one thing that makes a prime real estate very attractive is to say that it is litigation free. So one way that the Ghanaian markets can actually model after international best practices is to make sure that we digitize the way that we keep store of our land transactions. And so if this piece of land is registered on the digital system, we would know that, for example, Madam Sampa owns this piece of land. But if we go with the analogy way and pieces of paper, that's how come you'd have so many people claiming title to one particular piece of land. Europe is doing it, France has done it. They completed their digitization of their land registry system exactly 5 years ago. Spain is doing it, and you've seen so much tremendous improvements in their real estate department. I know that digitization comes at a lot of cost, and as a developing country, that may be a huge obstacle. But I believe that if we actually dedicate funds into digitizing our real estate department, making sure that when it comes to registration of lands and knowing who this land sector belongs to, we can avoid so many problems that come to land litigation and then its other unpleasant things that we talk about when it comes to the Ghanaian real estate market. The other thing that we need to talk about when it comes to sale and transaction is the kind of value that we provide. And that leads me to the next point about maintenance culture. And so you'd realize that people try to get the perfect property, but then as we have it, the vagaries of the weather, rain, dust, they can all reduce the kind of quality that we have when it comes to real estate. And so it's really important that, next slide please. It's really important that as Ghanaian real estate agents and people who participate in the real estate industry, we are able to make maintenance culture a heavy part of what we do. We need to, first of all, listen to the tenants, to the people who purchase these real estate properties, and actually let them understand that, okay, if you do have a problem, we would listen to you and everything that you have to say in regards to that. One way that the European markets, especially in France and Germany, they are trying to increase their maintenance culture, is dedicating a portion of the rent or a portion of the proceeds sale to maintenance culture. And so it helps if you dedicate strictly, even if it's just 10% or 5% of your sales procedure, knowing that, okay, this money is dedicated solely to maintaining this property. If we maintain the kind of property that we have on the real estate market, you'd realize that your clients even trust you better because they know that you are always going to deliver top-notch or quality properties to them. However, if we turn a blind eye to the kind of properties that we have and feel like we need to wash our hands off these properties once we sold them to the highest bidder, what you'd realize is that your clients become gradually unsatisfied with the kind of properties that you've sold them simply because you fail to keep or have a maintenance culture. Another thing about maintenance culture is that you need to have regular checks. And now you don't necessarily have to wait till you hear about a problem or a tenant making a full formal complaint to you about problems that the property is having. As the person in charge or the person representing those properties, you should make it a habit to regularly cross-check any problems, any faulty things that come to these properties. And when you do that, you'd realize that you yourself, you build a kind of portfolio when it comes to your products and the properties that you represent. Another way that maintenance culture can actually improve our value as real estate agents is that it actually increases the value of the property that we are marketing. It's important that as real estate agents, one thing that we see increasing in our lives every day is value. The property's value would definitely increase if the clients and even prospective buyers do realize that the property is always being kept, it's always being maintained, problems are being fixed gradually. England is doing it with the whole system about dedicating a portion of rent or proceeds from the property to dedicating repainting properties, fixing broken windows, and so many other problems that come in properties altogether. And so one way that the Ghanaian market can model after real estate in the international areas is to make sure that we dedicate enough funds when it comes to maintaining our properties. We don't have to wait and then watch property that was built with valuable funds go down the drain simply because we failed to maintain them. It's a problem among that. I believe that if we decide to watch how the international market is doing when it comes to maintenance culture, our values of the properties in the Ghanaian market will greatly increase, and then we would all see values in our lives. So the final one that borders on maintenance culture is about the increased clientele. And so if people or your clients even know about how much you value maintenance culture, you'd realize that easily people would come to you as real estate agents or people who are invested in the sector because they do know that they can trust your property. Trust your property to know that you always make sure that everything they need is provided for, and they don't have to necessarily wait to make complaints before you come and fix a certain product. So it's important that in as much as we are trying to model after the international best practices, we also go the hard way of dedicating some of the funds to maintenance culture, because things when it comes to buildings, they really cost. And so we should dedicate some funds in doing that to model after models in Germany, England, and France as well, and how they are doing everything that they can to keep a very great maintenance culture. Next slide, please. Great. Another area that I would like to touch on shortly before my time is over is about budget. That's taxes or cost of real estate in Ghana vis-a-vis cost or budget when it comes to real estate on the international market. In 2015, the government passed a bill that said that real estate properties will now be taxed 15%. Now, the real estate community in Ghana agitated against that high percentage on properties because 15% taxes will definitely cause a dive in profits. It will cause a dive in investments altogether. And so the government listened to stakeholders in the real estate agent and then dropped or reduced drastically from 15% in 2015 to what we have now as 5%. But if you should even compare that 5% rate of tax that we have here in Ghana to what Sweden has as 3%, or what the United States has 2.5 to about 4%, you'd realize that still, as a Ghanaian market, our taxes are still on the high rise. There are even property rates that you would have to pay to make sure that you comply with the tax laws that we have here in Ghana. Some of those property rates can go as high as 10% or even 8%. And so one way that we can model after the international practice when it comes to real estate is ensuring that our tax systems or our costs when it comes to buildings or developing real estate infrastructure are lowered, because you'd have to search the prospective buyers, how the strength of their purchasing power, and then be able to market relevant properties to them, properties that match their budget, but also match the kind of cost incurred in putting up these structures. On the board, we see a 20 million property. It's a skyscraper, and you'd realize that we see 20% in taxes, 5% in, I think, profit maximization, and 15% in cost of labor, while we have 60% as a cost of building materials. Building materials, and one thing that I'm also proud about this conference is that there's another session where we talk about how we can use plastic waste to incorporate in our buildings. As a real estate market, we need to also find new and innovative ways of using materials that are still of quality, but the production cost is much lower. This would also encourage investors to come into the Ghanaian market and then also heavily invest in the real estate infrastructure that we currently have. It's not easy to want to model what we have right now based on the international concept of real estate. But one thing that's important is that we've seen how, for example, Madam Sampa right here, she led Greta, and then she has been on it for 10 years now, and how she modeled some aspects of it to match European standards and all that. And so in any aspect that we find that the Ghanaian real estate market is lacking, we can simply put up strategic plans like we are having even this conference now, and make sure that we put in place our strategic goals to make sure that we can also model the international practice that we have out there. Because in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, we can also boast about having one of the greatest real estate market in the world. We can globalize and become the envy of the whole world when it comes to the Ghanaian real estate market. And so we have to come together as stakeholders, come together as people interested in the real estate market of Ghana, and decide with our whole heart that we actually want it to be modeled after international practices and in all that we do. And I think that these main ways of modeling the Ghanaian market, real estate, when it comes to that sector, over or after the international real estate market, can really help us in that regard. And so we've seen how the Ghanaian laws have also been modeled after laws in Europe, in America, and even in Asia, and how also, even currently, the kind of obstacles that we face when it comes to maintenance culture and other aspects of real estate can be solved if we look at how Europeans have also digitized when it comes to their land registration titles. Most real estate agents complain about the kind of hurdles they face at the Lands Commission when it comes to checking property titles and all that. And so digitization really is the future when it comes to making sure that everything that we have in real estate is concise and then it's available for everybody anytime, the same kind of information. And so next slide, please. I want to thank you all so very much for staying with me during my presentation about how we can model the Ghanaian real estate market after the international real estate market, and even how what the Ghanaian market has now has been a model of what we have overseas in Sweden, in Germany, in England, and even in France. And knowing that even after this 5-day conference, everything that we do, everything that we say when it comes to the real estate industry or sector here in Ghana will equally be modeled after best practices or better practices in international markets. And one day, the Ghanaian real estate market would also become the standard when it comes to global real estate markets. Thank you.
Through which he could share his contacts with the participants who wish to also link up with him. Our next speaker would be Jorge Osório, who will be talking about the Osório. Yeah, I got it right this time. Price versus value in real estate. Before he joins us, though, let me just share something with you. I'm just reading something on the net that says that Ghana has is the fifth highest in Africa for mortgage financing. That tells you a lot. In this country, the majority of people rent. Very few are landowners or homeowners. And so it's either you rent, you buy, or you own. That's the situation here. Let me tell you another bit of myself. I grew up in a family home in Teshiningwa Estate that was built in the early 70s. I'm hitting my mid-70s. I'm hitting my mid-40s. So my dad passed 20 years ago. I was going through his documents, and I found out that the building, which was a 3-bedroom apartment plus a 3 boys' quarters at the side, was bought for 350 Ghana cedis at that time, in the 70s. So imagine the value now, after 40 years. We've done some add-ons, there's been some expansions and all that. So George will be coming up here and will be speaking to that topic about price versus value in real estate. May we please give him a round of applause as he comes up here.
Millions of dollars to repaint it. Okay? So these two concepts are completely different. Value on one side and price on the other. It's very hard to do this without a presentation because I trained for 3 months with a presentation and I'm speaking loose here. But anyways, the important thing is that you only sell, and this is very important for you. You only sell where your client sees more value than the price he has to pay for it. Okay, again, you only sell when your client perceives more value than the price they have to pay for it. So the examples here was something very valuable for me. Oh, we're back. The microphone is on. Yeah. Now we have karaoke. Okay, who's next? Okay, 50% done. We're missing the rest of the 50. So who knows good jokes, huh? Huh? I'm stalling here, you notice, huh? Yeah, but I have to stick with the time. People only sell. You only sell. You only sell. You as well will only sell if your client sees more value for himself than the price that he has to pay for it, right? So this is the only true information I'm sharing with you during this presentation. All the rest is just teasing you to find out what value means for yourselves, what value means for your clients. And you have to you have to step out of your own shoes and understand what's on the other side. Okay? Otherwise, you will not sell. The big thing is that this applies to cars, castles, and real estate. Okay? So my advice to you is instead of start talking about my quality, my walls, my location, you just have to do one thing, which is shut up and listen. So, another good idea for you. If you want to sell, just shut up and listen. And what you have to listen? Talk to me. What do you want to listen? Okay. What does your client values in your property? Yes.
Their preferences, their pain points.
Correct. Correct. So once that you find that he prefers the 2-bedroom because, or that he wants to invest and he wants to have this minimum return of, then it's easy for you to pitch. because you go directly to the point. He doesn't care about the payments plan. He doesn't care about the name of the architect. He just wants to understand the returns that they are promised to him. Or he just wants to understand if he can fit the drawing baby in his apartment. Why a pitch of 10,000 words if you are just shooting around sales pitch and not listening to the variables that your client indeed values? Okay? So let's start and give examples. My 3 years in real estate in Ghana are not enough to understand what kind of clients, what kind of variables clients like, because every client is different from the other. So when I have a client leaving, I have a new one coming on, and his perception of value is completely different than the one before. So I came to the conclusion that I don't know nothing about values on property, on real estate in Ghana. But you do. So let's start sharing some examples, okay? Location, okay? That's the most obvious one, right? So why would you consider that location is important? Talk to me. Sorry? Convenience. That's amazing, yes. Correct, correct. So sometimes I don't know that buzzword, location. I just want it to be close to the highway or close to my job or close to my, just imagine, family, to my school kids' school. So many times we forgot about that. Oh, it's amazing. It's in the middle of cantonments. Who cares? He just wants to know it's close to his school. Okay? Another variable, price. If I would come to my past clients with a $50,000 property, which is very cheap, as you know what they would say? Nah, I wouldn't buy it for you. They want pricey properties, maybe with a discount, but they want expensive properties. And the reverse is also true, of course. You don't have, if you're talking to a target, to a segment, market segment, which can't afford the luxury segment, you can only provide cheaper properties. Okay? How are we with the presentation? Still? This is being very hard for me. I can't imagine. I'm pretending to be good. Huh? So just imagine, price is not a factor as well. Because you need to understand, oh, we're back. Hi. Wake up, everybody. So let's go. Now it's the pointer that doesn't work. Huh? Amazing. What could be wrong does go wrong. Just let me try to understand if it's the batteries. Well, can you assist me with the presentation? Please go back. Okay, go back to the beginning, okay? To the beginning. So, hello. Let's start from the beginning, eh? This is my daughter's drawing. I value it a lot. Value it a lot. Please, next slide. It's gonna be fun. The old way. See, now you can see what I was given, my car, okay? It was very cheap, but I didn't value it enough, okay? So another variable is price. Slide, please. Slide again, please. And this is me. My name is George. And I'm here to learn from you the difference between price and value, okay? How did I got here? Slide, please. Another one, okay? For 3 years, I was the sales and marketing director of the DevTraco Group, where I was able to learn to understand a little bit of the Ghanaian, not a phone, that's amazing. Where I was able to learn to understand a little bit of the market, the real estate market. Next slide, please. In December, my connection with DevTraco ended. I was providing assistance on the future of the group DevTraco, but I was able to understand that in Ghana, there is no mystery shopping companies. I wanted to have mystery shopping to audit my sales team, actually 2 sales teams in DevTraco, and I couldn't find any decent supplier. So I decided to continue in Ghana and create my own company, CX Mystery Shoppers, Customer Experience Mystery Shoppers, and we already have one big client, which is Spar Supermarket, 14 shops. They are audited every week, all the 14 shops, and the owners understand in the eyes of their clients, how are they performing, okay? And we have a second client coming over. I believe that by the end of this month, we should have some good news as well, okay? Slide, please. And I'm also in Keller Williams, Portugal, okay? By the way, when I was in DevTraco, I tried to bring Keller Williams to Ghana. The DevTraco group wanted to have one of the big players in the world. Unfortunately, Keller Williams were not available to come to Ghana at that time. Still isn't, okay? Despite they are already in a few African countries, South Africa and a few African countries. Nevertheless, unfortunately, you don't see the red spot in Ghana yet. Maybe in the future. But I'm working for Keller Williams in Portugal. Next slide, please. This is a definition of value and price that I really like, okay? Something like, I forgot your name in the back. Oh, she's already sleeping. Sharon, that's it. Sharon told you something about, again? Amazing, eh? Price is what you pay. Value is what you get, okay? Mr. Warren Buffett. The same guy that said, is an investor mostly in shares, okay, in the stock market. The same guy that said, the worst days to invest in shares are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those are the worst days to invest in shares, okay? By the way, you don't deal shares in Saturday and Sunday. So we had a good definition, and it's amazing. Let's think about this. Price is what you get. What you have to, correct, thank you. What you have to pay for something. And the price is something in euros, in dollars, in CDs, whatever, but it's the same amount and it's visible for everybody. 100 is the same for you and for me. We feel the same. Probably one can afford, the other one we can't, but 100 is 100, period. What about value? Do you think that value is the same for everybody? Of course not. It has just been proven here, okay? Challenging. Will we have the presentation back on? Okay. Victoria, thank you. You're doing amazing, Victoria, okay? I'm not doing amazing because I don't know what to talk now. But let's go back to the examples, okay? Remember I told you, I know nothing about real estate, but you do because you know your clients, okay? Let's give a few examples of it's truly of value to clients. So we are all big boys here in the real estate, I'm sure, okay? So what do your clients value? What's your name? Anyways, what's your name? You're Hans. Can you share what your clients value in real estate? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Amazing.
Well, as you said, it depends on the client, of course.
Okay, but give me a few examples. The more out of the box, the better, because this is where I want to get.
They want to feel home.
Sorry,
They want to feel at home.
that's amazing. Because most people buy properties not to feel at home, but for instance, to make their tenants feel at home, to make their money increase, right?
Show off. Yeah.
Okay? For show off. Amazing, that's it. You know, especially in Ghana, it's very common that you don't buy a home to feel at home. You buy a home to show your people, your friends and family that, hey, I've succeeded, look at my home. Huh? It's completely uncomfortable, noisy or whatever, but it's flashy, okay? Thank you, Hans. Who else would like to share variables? Yes, we have a lady there.
My name is Gertrude.
Gertrude.
Yes.
So what's your opinion about good values for your client?
So in recent times, I had a client who is a pensioner, and so she placed value on gated community security.
Okay, security, amazing. That's actually one of the main values that I've witnessed, okay? Again in the back, yes.
I found out something very interesting, that for some people in the middle class, they look for places where their kids can have friends to play with.
That's actually true. I have a good friend, a Portuguese friend, which actually is moving from one condo to the other, because the condo where he is now, there are no kids left. So his child is feeling lonely in an amazing condo. Well, not expensive, but not cheap. Not cheap, but not expensive. So price-wise, it's amazing. But the kid feels alone because she doesn't have any brothers or sisters, okay? So they actually want to move to another condo, more expensive, just to allow the kids to have other people, the kids to play. Right. Value, in this case, is just as simple as having other tenants and owners who have kids. Okay? So you do understand that most of the times your client in front of you don't care about price, area, location, how big is the room, if you can afford if you can pay in 3 times or in 5 times. Okay? Of course these variables are important, of course. But are these the most important ones? You can't expect that you understand your client's needs, what he values, unless you ask. Okay? Yes, please.
Hi there, this is Natasha with the Queer Property Management Group, and I come from the States. And so what I train my team is that, it's 80% listening and 20% speaking back to your clients as it relates to what they're talking about. And then also, you should always sell the benefit before you sell the feature, because it means everything to your client, because like you said earlier, they want to know what the value is for them and how it's going to benefit them and their family.
Natasha is amazing. She actually quantified 80% listening and half of that just delivering the speech that you were trained to. Okay? And believe me, this is easy for you to do. Shut up and sell. For this, you have to do questions, of course, to understand where the value is in that client of yours. And by the way, the next client that comes, his values are going to be completely different. So hopefully, you will understand that you know nothing about real estate as well. Because the next client is going to be completely different than the one before. So you need to relearn again, and you need to listen again. Sounds good? Okay. One message then, okay? Value is more important than the price that you have to pay for it. And if you get this home, if you get this as a takeaway, I'm going to be very pleased because my time here was fruitful, okay? So come with me. Value needs to be more than price. Value needs to be more than price. Come with me, come with me. Value needs to be more than price. Value is more important than price, better. Value is more, come with me. Value is more important than price. Talk to your right person, to your right neighbor, and train him that. Value is more important than price. Now, go to your left. Go to your left and train her that. I can't listen to you. We're getting there. Just another time. Amazing, the things we learn in the Kempinski. No, in the Movenpick, sorry. The things we learn in the Movenpick. If you bring this home, it's going to be fine, okay? Hey, we have a presentation back again. Amazing. Yeah, no PowerPoint. Go. Another one, please. No, this is gone. Okay, this is the part where you say, value is more important than price. We've done that. That's, by the way, that's the only message I would like to share with you. Another one, please. Shut up and sell. We're past that again. Okay, we need to change shoes, to exchange shoes with our client. Shut up. Try to understand his feelings. Try to understand what he values. Past that. Okay? Questions. Open questions in the beginning to make him talk. And then you just closed questions, yes or no answers, just to certify that you understood the right message and move on. And actually, you can also direct his questions. Something like, this is amazing, right? I'm seeing that you want to close the deal right now. Can I get the contract for you? So you are directing his questions, okay? Next, please. There. So we have discovered a few values which are of value, okay? Every client needs a different value. Let's assume that, okay? Everybody wants a return, everybody wants a flashy house, everybody wants a comfortable. But besides that, there are a few variables that are, let's call it, out of the box, inventive. And if you can grab those in your project from the beginning, man, you're going to sell, because your competitors don't have those values. So be creative whenever you are developers, whenever you are strategizing, okay? But even if you are in the end of the workflow, in the end of the process, do find inventive ways to sell your values or to understand what is valued by your client in front of you. Now I have the presentation, great. Europe has done one amazing thing recently, which is, who cares about properties? Let's just get the rich guys from all over the world to live in Europe. By the way, by Europe, I say the Schengen area, which is a group of countries within Europe, okay? We have several names for that. The Eurozone, those who have the same currency. We have the Schengen area, a group of countries where we don't have to show passports. So whenever you enter, for instance, Portugal, where I come from, you can go to 20-ish countries, can't remember the exact number, without even showing your passport, because it's the same area. Okay? And they have come up with this idea. We want to have the richest one from Asia, from Africa, from the US, from Brazil, from China. Okay? So they have come with this value for property. Okay? Next slide, please. I'll give you the example for Portugal, where I work. If you buy a house in Portugal, of course, in a certain standards, it has to be above 500,000 euros. Okay? You have to stay there 14 days every year. You have to fill in the requisition. You have to ask for this. You can't have any prior criminal records. So it's not easy as I'm telling you, okay? It has some sort of a process. But if you fill all the ticks in the boxes, not only you have the house for you, but you also have education for your kids, the health system for the Europeans, the availability to enter and leave whenever you want. And not only in the same country, Portugal, that we are speaking, but also all the other countries in the area zone, in the Schengen area. And in 5 years, if you behave, meaning if you have proven that you stay, that's the right word, I behave. And then, of course, you have some extra requirements as well. You are entitled to apply for the citizenship. So in the beginning, we're talking about the residence permit. By the way, it's called the golden visa. Okay? Yeah. Like the golden ticket in the movie. So just imagine how inventive values can be. I had a client actually in Ghana. I was doing my briefing, so what you want to buy, tell me, kind of property, so I can look for you. And he said, what we all want to say, George, I don't care about the property. As long as I don't have to lose money on it, you tell me what kind of property I want to buy. I just want the residence permit. Why would I be losing time with this client to sell him 5 rooms, luxury, beds, painted in yellow? Okay? What did this client value? Access to Portugal. By the way, he would access not only to Portugal, because let's face it, Portugal isn't sexy for Ghanaians. Okay? Portugal isn't sexy. So he wants the door Portugal to go to visit the rest of the countries. Okay, so it's not even Portugal the main attraction for this gentleman. Okay, so I invite you. Do think about these things. Okay, last slide, please. Again, I truly hope that I can bring you something, which is value is more important than price. Period. That's the only idea I came here to share with you. And an invitation. Do think, how can you evaluate your client's values so you can shut up and sell? Thank you, guys. You think there's time for a question, Q&A? If anybody? Hey, so many questions. Let's move on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, George. This is still the first ever Africa Real Estate Conference and Expo here in Accra. We'll be ending this session pretty soon. That will be on Friday, not today. Friday. So we've got 3 more days to go. We'll at this moment take a short coffee break, after which Maureen and Kweku will join us. It's going to be a a presentation and a Q&A session as well. So get ready for all the questions when they come up here to deliver their presentation. 15 minutes coffee break. The setup is made. It's just behind you. Choose what you would like to feel comfortable with, and then we'll come back in 15 minutes, starting from now, please. Thank you. The International Real Estate Federation is going to give us a deep dive into what the Federation is all about and what they do. So Nana Williams, please, if you're ready, be up here and do your presentation. Nana Williams. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Hi, I think you didn't hear me earlier. Good afternoon. I've been given the daunting task of representing Mr. Jorge Osório, who's the president of FIAPSI. The current president, he got installed this year. He's going to be the president till 2022. He was supposed to have made a presentation here yesterday, but unfortunately he had technical glitches which couldn't be resolved before now. So I have the daunting task. He's Andorran, and I'm Ghanaian. He's bald-headed like me. So I'm the black version with a snow-white whiskers. So I was asked to stand in his stead, which I am doing this morning. Well, it reads from Mr. Rebo. So now this is Mr. Rebo reading by his Ghanaian doppelganger. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to take part in the first African Real Estate Conference and Expo. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Ghana Real Estate Professional Association President and Founder, Mrs. Vicky Sampa, for inviting me to address the audience. I commend the initiative to launch on the 10th anniversary of GREPA. It so happens to be the 10th anniversary of Movenpick Ghana. So it's a special occasion. I commend the initiative to launch on the 10th anniversary of GREPA, the ARCE conference on the theme Advancing Global Networks for Sustainable Real Estate Markets. In a famous opening speech by Jorge Osório, he did say that real estate, I beg your pardon, is not a profession. It is not a sector of the economy. It's even something more than an industry. It is one of the pillars the society is based on. All our economies, all our societies face a common challenge these days, the challenge of sustainable development. In the 21st century, the target of any country is not only growing just for the sake of it, and therefore the aim of business people should be something more than making money just for the sake of making money. It is, or it should be, to create, to contribute, to build a stronger, more prosperous, and more sustainable world. Because if we are, as I said before, one of the foundations of our society, our society is built on, we have to take our share of the world's challenges and try to be always part of the solution, which works in line with the Millennium Development Goals. Hence, the importance of an organization such as FIAPSI, the International Real Estate Federation, which has been in existence for 70 years. FIAPSI has provided access and opportunities for real estate professionals interested in gaining knowledge, sharing information, and conducting international business with each other. FIAPSI was created in 1951 in Paris. FIAPSI is represented in over 70 countries through 47 national and multinational federations. more than 90 national associations representing all professions of the real estate industry, architects, developers and investors, asset and property managers, appraisers, construction companies, realtors and brokers, real estate lawyers and notaries, etc. About 100 academic and public institutions and over 2 whopping million affiliate companies and individuals are members of FIAPSI. In 1971, the Federation obtained roster, and in 1996, special consultative status on the United Nations Economic and Social Council. While much of international news about FIAPSI focuses on our work around affordable housing, sustainability, and our alliance with the United Nations, FIAPSI exists to help our members do more business. So FIAPSI exists to help members do more business internationally and locally, wherever they may be found, respecting our code of ethics and high standards. You would agree that technology is key to ensuring the future of our industry in a sustainable environment. That's why we will invest time, effort in promoting excellence and innovation within our company's professionals and associates. But at the same time, let us never forget this fundamental truth. Technology and information are not an end in itself. They are tools to be used in favor of our clients, our business partners, our employees, improve their experience and their work every day. In that regard, our ambition is also to help new generations through education, to improve their knowledge and their managerial skills. If all our sectors have something in common, apart from being all related to the real estate industry, it is that at the end of the day, we all provide a service. And whenever the word service is involved, people and their skills are at the core of any business. It is important as an organization and as an industry that we strengthen our shared values and our own corporate culture, or cultures if you want. And we will do this through communication, a good reputation, policy, and a specific program of advantages for our member countries. FIAPSI is all about sharing and inspiring best practices on a national, regional, and international level. FIAPSI is about sharing and inspiring best practices on a national and regional and international level. I say again, best practices happens to be key in what FIAPSI was set up to do. FIAPSI advocates for sustainable, inclusive, and resilient urban development worldwide. On the theme of the 72nd FIAPSI World Real Estate Congress is Building Better Lives. International delegates from around the world will gather in Paris from 7th to the 10th of June 2022 to learn about the vision of all our professions in different regions, to share their own best practices and experiences. The involvement of the African continent and its real estate practitioners and professionals in our activity before, during, and after the Congress is a priority for us. I take this opportunity to encourage you to be more active and lead the development. The future of Africa is in your hands. I look forward to welcoming many of you next year in Paris for the 72nd FIAPSI World Real Estate Congress. Thank you. And this is from Rito, who is a professional. He started off with marketing, but ended up in real estate and is now the president of FIAPSI. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Nana Williams. And now we have Bill Ensley. Yesterday he spoke to us on the topic urban regeneration. Today it's going to be on the Ghana Property Market Scorecard. Bill, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. So I am a member of FIAPSE. As a matter of fact, I was on the international board for several years. And so we are in the process now of developing FIAPSE Ghana. So each country is represented by this International Real Estate Federation. So we've been working several years. As I said yesterday, now that we've grown up, we can start to really participate and show up at all of these international conferences so that Ghana is absolutely represented on the world stage. So I want to give you, share with, let's have one. Yeah. Oh, let me have one. So I have a few hard copies, and so we're going to share the hard copies. What we want to do today is we're going to go over the Ghana property market scorecard. So what this is so share please. We only have 10 copies, so you can share with each other, and I will go over here on the screen. So first of all, thank you. Thank you. So the idea, I mentioned briefly yesterday that the property market is made up of 6 elements. And so I'll put them on the screen, on the chart here. Is that too many? 1, 2, 3. It's too many. Let's start again. I have to look. You can see, but I'll put up for those who don't have the chart. It's pi, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here, number 1 is property rights. So you need to understand what the property rights situation is. And so those of you who have the paper, I will go over it for you. So each of these, we have 72 elements of a property market. And so what we do for the international investor is this international investor needs to be able to compare, as we've had speeches before, what is the difference between the property markets in Ghana, in Portugal, in Nigeria, in Singapore. And so we have the World Trade Organization, right? So if I'm selling cocoa, or if I'm selling watches, or if I'm selling tennis rackets, the World Trade Organization tells me what the rules are. If I'm moving money, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, actually in Basel, Switzerland, they tell me what that money is worth. What tells us what property is worth, and how do we compare properties every single country in the world? Well, we created this international property market scorecard so that we could have some measure, some objective measure for comparing one property market to the other. And so if we start with property markets, then we start with property rights here, property rights. So property rights are broken down into the legal framework. So what does the Constitution say? What do the laws of Ghana say I can do with property? Can I buy land outright here in Ghana? Or can I only lease it, right? I can only lease it. That's perfectly fine. But if I'm coming from the United States and I don't know that, and you're selling me something and you don't tell me, and I find it out, I'm not going to be a happy camper. So right away, we start with, and the majority of the countries in the world, it's lease. You can't own the land. So we start with that. What is the land situation? So, and I'm just going to read a couple of these as we go because, so for instance, question, does an effective and sufficient legal framework exist to protect property rights for all citizens? And the answer is no. So what we do, and those that have the color charts, we have 4 levels. We have very weak,
weak, strong, and very strong. So, weak. Property rights, although existing, are poorly administered and may not be effectively protected. Citizens have the opportunity to challenge the legality of government takings, but cannot guarantee fair outcomes. Citizens are free to transfer interest acquired in land to others, but may require the consent of the government or the original stool owner, depending on the terms of ownership. Right? So what GREPA has done in January of 2020 is created this, what you have done, and what you will continue to do is to update this information. We're thinking about every 2 years. So next year, maybe this, the stool law, the laws aren't going to change, probably not. So we have that information. So just to give you an example, so this comes from the World Economic Forum. So this is not my opinion about the situation. So the World Economic Forum has the legal framework, and they rank 180 countries. So this score comes from this ranking. So in the legal framework, in your country, how strong is protection of property rights, including intellectual property and land administration? Here it is very weak, because Ghana is ranked 106th out of 141. I'm going to Nigeria. Nigeria is ranked 138th out of 140. Are the Nigerians still here? The point is not what the score is. The point is, what are you going to do to improve it? Why do we keep score? Why do we measure something? We had a Warren Buffett earlier, Malcolm Baldrige. You can't improve something if you can't measure it, right? So the idea here is, how do we measure it apples to apples? And real estate is very, very difficult. One apartment next door to another apartment, George, is it the same value? Yeah. Every single condo and every single unit has a difference to it. It is not necessarily the same value. And so what we're doing here is we're trying to use our skill set, but also international indices. And so security of tenure. In your country, how easy is it for private businesses to challenge government actions and challenge regulations through the legal system? Here it says strong, ranking 50th out of 141. That's really good. So that means you do have the ability to challenge whatever regulation comes down. So now, as professionals, when somebody comes to you and says, you know what, I can't own the land outright, and there's problems with the legal framework, what do you say? You say you're exactly right. However, tenure is very secure once you have gone through the situation. Always, always make sure you know what the negatives are before your client. And it's advantageous of you to bring up the negatives before they do. Because when you bring up a negative, after that you say what? Don't worry. I'm here to help you through it. So that's the idea of the scorecard. Property rights, I won't go into this in complete detail, but next is our registries. So property rights, so what does the law say? And then what are the registries? When I have to change a title. Remember yesterday when you sold me the house and I didn't actually put the right number in because I didn't want to pay the taxes? And how long is it going to take when you transfer the ownership for me? Do I have to go to 15,000 different offices and get some stamps and talk to the guy? I said, yesterday I didn't, tell the Russia story. You know, basically when you go to the window to transfer your property, I can pick on, you just name a country, I'll pick on it, Russia today. So you go to the thing and it says, I need to transfer my property, right? And they say, okay, it's going to be 300 rubles, and it's going to take 10 weeks, right? You say, oh. He says, oh, however, for an expedited fee, I can have it for you tomorrow. So what do? You reach in your pocket and you pay the fee. And tomorrow you come back and you say, there's a guy there. Where's Sergey? Sergey? Well, he's not here today. Oh, but he said I could get my title today. Sergey said, what? He is not authorized to do that. I, however, am the supervisor. I am authorized to make this transaction. So if you'll give me the expedited fee and come back tomorrow, you will get your paper. Is this the way it works? Absolutely. Absolutely. As I said yesterday, in Chicago, it's called a campaign contribution. But when you make that campaign contribution, generally you get the thing you've made the contribution for. In some countries, you do not get, even after having paid the expedited fee, you do not get the thing you have paid the contribution for. And then the next thing is, in property rights, is formal ownership. And this is something that I always want to talk about here. All of us here are not hawkers, right? But there's a huge informal sector all around Africa. And how we bring the informal sector into the formal sector is absolutely crucial for our progress. So we have to find ways to bring the informal sector in. Does anybody know, by the way, we talked about the Arab Spring. Does anybody know the story of the Arab Spring? What happened?
I think the young people got dissatisfied. I think the young people got dissatisfied with the level of corruption and unemployment and disparity in their treatment, amongst the upper class and the lower class. And it just exploded. I think it was just a tipping point.
What was the spark?
That I don't know, but I know that there's going to be a tipping point.
All right, I think it started in Tunisia. When,
yes.
Yes. A graduate was dissatisfied and then set himself ablaze.
Thank you.
Public. Yeah.
A hawker set himself on fire. This hawker had been selling vegetables in the market for more than 10 years and saving up a little bit every day to buy a truck so that he wouldn't have to cart his vegetables into the market to improve his business. And one day the police came and said, what? Don't have a permit, you gotta go. And he said, oh, but I've been here for 10 years. And they said, you don't have a permit, you have to go. And so he carries himself down to the police station and says, I'm here to get a permit. And they said, we don't have permits, you don't get permits. We don't do that. Well, where do I get a permit? Not my job to tell you where to get it. I don't know where there is to get a permit. And so he marched down to City Hall. He says, I'm here to get a permit for my vegetable stand. Don't get a permit? You don't get permits. There was no way for him to operate legally. And so in the town square, he set himself on fire and killed himself. And he wasn't the only one. Hernando de Soto, who's a Peruvian economist, found that there were 80 different people within that year who had done something similar because there was no way for them to move from the informal sector to the formal sector. And so property rights is property rights for everyone. Everyone, including those in the informal sector. So we talk about dead capital, right? What's dead capital? All of that capital that's in the informal sector that doesn't have a title, that all the people who are hawking the nuts and the juice at the stop, all of that is not adding to their credit history. All of that is not leading them to own a condo. Whose job is it to fix that? Yours. Ours. So if we go next, after property rights, we have access to credit. And so if those of you who have the page, I'll go over it. We're going to send everyone if everybody has the page, if you have the book, page 11, there's a gorgeous picture there. It's got me in it, by the way. That's the reason it's gorgeous. So this is the first, in 2018, when I first came to Ghana, teaching the property market scorecard so that the Ghana professionals could do the scorecard. And so once I have a title in my hand or the right to occupy, the right to use, then the key is access to credit. Can I take this piece of paper and go to the bank and get a loan? And so that's really the situation. So again, are traditional banking services robust and extensive enough to serve the needs of the population and help them build wealth and purchase property? And the answer is no. The situation is weak. Although there are plenty of microfinance organizations in Ghana, it is very difficult to obtain a bank loan, and the country's banking services are far from sound. Again, there's no judgment here about whether it's strong, weak. It just is what it is. And we need to know so that we can take small steps to improve the situation each time, every year. So when we look at access to credit, we have access. So in going to Nigeria, many places, even if you're qualified for a loan, a good 80% of the people will never apply. Why is that? They don't want to give the information required. Yes, it's exorbitant interest rates, but do you know how many papers you have to fill out? I mean, even in the United States, it's incredible the amount of information that you have to give up. And in most cultures, you don't give up that type of information, even to the bank, right? So yes, interest rates, all of those types of things. I told this joke at lunch. I told this joke at lunch the other day. I tell you, how do you find out the real price of a property in Mexico? Tequila. The only way you can find it is to go to a bar and have a few drinks and say, you know, Joe bought that land over there. What did he pay for it? Oh, he paid, blah, blah, blah. But that is definitely not what they reported to the bank or to the title agency. And we're going to go over here to rational dispute resolution, and then if by some miraculous chance, I filled out all the paperwork and I got my loan for $10,000 at a 23% interest rate with 60% down and a 3-year term. This is real. And if I don't pay, the bank cannot get the property back because the court system will take 3 years and some $8,000 to $10,000 in lawyers' fees to get the property back. That means no banks are willing to lend any money. So you see, the point of this is all of these things are connected. So if I have the title, but I can't get it through a dispute resolution process, then the bank isn't going to give me a loan because the risks for them are too high. So that's the idea, is on this side of the circle. And so just finishing up with access to credit, you have other sources. So can you go to an angel investor here and get money for your startup? No. Can you go and list your company on the stock market? So you're dependent on the banks, right? It's bank or nothing. So how do we create alternative systems, angel investors, all of those things, as I said yesterday, we're growing up. We can grow up to the next level to work on that. And then access to credit is also your credit registries. So people, and it's very, very exciting today because now I'm not really adept at this kind of thing. They always tell me, tell this story to get to Ghana was, well, you just take your QR code and put it on your, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. There was not, so they had to help me. So for me, well, I won't tell you all of that, but not until the cocktails. But for me, it's very difficult, this. But for young people and you can start to build a credit history right here. Because this information is collecting everything you do. As a matter of fact, there are pilots in many, many countries where you can go and the government official comes with his phone and takes a picture of your house, and you have definitely been there for 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, and they can then issue you a title with their printer right there. Because so we're moving past these problems, as I said yesterday, have solutions. We have the ability, and this right here has the ability for you to build a credit history through what you're doing. If I'm a hawker, I can start to create, because interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure all the hawkers have a cell phone, right? Yes, they do. In fact, everywhere I go, everyone has what? Not one cell phone, several cell phones. So seriously, folks, if everybody can have 2 cell phones, surely we can start to move in the property sector to widen the door for more people to come in. So next we go to effective governance. So property rights, access to credit, effective governance. And effective governance, does the country have free and open elections and the leadership, and can citizens engage in free enterprise? The answer is yes, strong. In Ghana, citizens are able to elect their government and freely express their opinions, and government intervention in the market is limited. So another strength here in Ghana is that idea of democracy. And now, again, not to say that there aren't controversial issues and every elected official does their job, but the point is, generally compared, particularly in Africa, Ghana stands out. So again, back to Empower Africa this morning, okay, I'm ready to come to Africa, why Ghana? And you can talk about your democratic representation, which includes voice and accountability, fair elections, and market intervention. So many places the government completely controls markets. Probably here there are certain sectors where the government has more influence than others. So as an investor, I need to know where the government is coming from. Those are the kind of things. But in this situation, you have no worries. Integrity. And this is 3 levels of integrity. Control of corruption, transparency, and extra-legal payments. What's an extra-legal payment? In Chicago, it's called a campaign contribution, which is not. So when I was making this, the whole kind of thing is I didn't want to put bribes. You know, you just didn't want to put bribes. So in China, it's called guangxi. Guangxi, is anybody Chinese? Special favors. You know, when I first started going to China, special favors included envelopes of money. Nowadays, the government has really, really cracked down on that. And so if I'm a government official, I happen to get an extra load of concrete delivered to my warehouse that I didn't pay for. Or my driveway gets paved, or I get some new appliances. So the money now is starting to be more exposed. I tell this, I have to tell I tell the beer story too. So in China, talking about back to the informal sector, so in China, I'm in my hotel and I want a beer. And there's one in my room, right? And how much is it? $2.50. Now, if I'm a brave man, I will go out of my hotel room and walk a couple of blocks down the road, and there's a little store. And in that store, the same beer is what? $1.25. Talking about value and price here, George. And if I'm really smart, I know that there's a lady with a chest on the road over the overpass to the highway that I can get a beer for 50 cents. Where do I get my beer? From the lady over the highway. But that lady knows when somebody's coming that she's not allowed to be there, and all of a sudden the beers go away. Back to value and price. How much is the value of that beer? Well, if I don't want to go out of my room, it's worth $2.50, right? But if I'm smart enough to know the market, the value of that beer is 50 cents. So the idea here is, how does all of this system work? So effective governance means that if the cost of compliance is too high, I will not comply. I will find a way around it. Right? And so, as was said earlier in the Empower Africa, the government has to be involved here. We have to look at this from the private sector, the government sector, and the civil society sector, which we're mostly talking about today, which is the GREPA and FIAPSI and all of our associations. So once we get from there, I hope this looks like something. I hope this picture is going to be as good as your daughter's. Probably not. And how much are you going to... We get to rational dispute resolution. So across the circle, and you see in the map on the beginning, those of you that have the, they're the same color. So the purples, because they're related. So you see property rights is in the purple, rational dispute resolution is also in the purple. Because they're related not only in color, but in location across the circle. And so when we get to rational dispute resolution, we have 3 sections. Rule of law, which means, as I was just discussing, what is the law? And what are the habits of compliance? You know what habits of compliance are? Habits of compliance means, how do people obey the law just because they want to? The society says, yeah, well, everybody does that. Everybody obeys the law. Or does nobody obey the law because it's not relevant, or it's past, or it's too difficult? So you can have a law in place, but if people are not complying with that law, then you don't have much. Independent judiciary and security are the first situations. I'll read here just the high level. Do all market participants abide by the rule of law and have confidence in the courts and the ability of the police to control crime? No. Weak. Despite a fairly strong confidence in the judiciary system, there is no accountability of the judiciary, and the level of law enforcement and reliability of the police is low, which may be accounted for by issues such as bribery and corruption. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Again, there's no judgment about what the situation is. It just is what the situation is. So I, as an international investor, will price this risk differently than in a country where the police perform differently. Or I will pay a higher premium on my business insurance to make up for this situation. So that's the point, is we're not talking about this as negative or positive. We're talking about this as the information I need as an investor to price the risk so that I can come here to Ghana and place my money because I'm absolutely certain that I'm going to get a higher return than I would get in some other country. Right? So this is the concept that we're trying to grasp with here. And then enforcements of contracts. So going back to the same thing about if I have my title, how long does it take? Does it take 2 weeks? Do I have to go to 5 offices? Or does it take 6 months and I have to go to 10 offices? Same thing with the enforcement of the contract. If I have a contract, we have a contract, and you don't fulfill that contract, who was here yesterday? If we have a contract and you don't fulfill that contract, what's the number one rule? Don't go to court. Under any circumstances, do not go to court. Every contract, every time, has an alternative dispute resolution clause. If there is a conflict in this contract, it must go to arbitration. Absolutely, 150,000%, you must have arbitration clauses in every single contract you ever offer or sign, because you do not want to go to court, because you will lose time and money. And if you lose time and money, George, what do we lose? Value. We lose value. And then finally, commercial dispute resolution. And in most of the countries in Africa, commercial dispute resolution is pretty strong. And why is that? Because the multinationals are here. And they're taking your products and your resources, and they're making money on them. And your government is going to make sure that when these multinationals come in, they get in and their business is taken care of. Can you take property and put it on a ship and send it overseas? No, you cannot. So as I said in the beginning, there are all these rules as far as international trade goes for tennis shoes and computer chips, but billions of dollars are moving around the world in property for those luxury condos and citizenship in Portugal. People are moving all of this money around. So, as I said yesterday, Mother Nature and Father Time are telling us things are changing, and we have the opportunity to move into a new paradigm by using this information to come up with the information and the transparency that market investors are going to need in order to bring that money here into Ghana to invest in the property sector. Not that they should stop investing in the other sectors. But what did I say yesterday? I'll give this speech again tomorrow. We'll have a whole new crowd. Why not? Real estate is the rhythm section of the entire economy. What's the rhythm section? It's a jazz reference. I talked about Herbie Hancock yesterday. The rhythm section, if I am in a jazz combo, I've got the piano and the drums and the bass, which are the rhythm section. And then I have the singer and the trumpet player and all those other players who everybody sees, but without the rhythm section, there is no band. Without the real estate sector performing well, performing transparently, there is no economic growth. It's that simple. Or any stable growth. So we are constantly, going to Nigeria, constantly at the mercy of the price of oil, constantly at the mercy of exchange rates. Get the property sector right, and you have a whole different form of stability. So, number 5, so access to credit is financial transparency. So if I have access to credit and I've made this transaction and I go, do I have the data on that transaction that I need to analyze it? So financial transparency, overarching question. Are market rates efficiently transparent and diversified so that efficient capital allocation can occur? No, weak. Because the property market, especially assets trading, is still not formally regulated, hence most transactions are still shrouded in secrecy. In order for me to make a decision, I need to see the last 200 transactions. Maurice, if you were here, you go in the United States, you go on your phone, here are the last 5,000 transactions. So you can do an algorithm and you can make all sorts of analysis about where the market is going. Here, most of our transactions are still shrouded in secrecy. We don't want people to know who bought what, who owns it, where they got it, all those kinds of things, right? So that, therefore, makes it difficult for people. So all of our vendors out here are moving properties, right? And they have maybe their own databases. So the idea here on transparency, so we have financial transparency includes the market stability, so financial reporting standards, financial services. How many of you have a financial advisor? So financial services, right? We're just at the bank. I got a banker, right? Got a credit card, right? And I've got 2 cell phones. So financial services, the sophistication of these services, and the insolvency process, same kind of thing. If it takes me forever to get my title changed, if it takes me forever to get through the courts, and if it takes me forever to get through bankruptcy, then I've clogged up the capital. The capital is clogged up. And then our asset valuers. Do we have any valuers or surveyors here? So that was my original foray into the world of real estate was at the Appraisal Institute. And so we talked about the valuers and training valuers and exactly the presentation this morning about what is the difference between value and price. And so the other thing is the value is what somebody's willing to pay if they have all of the information that they need. So people, if I can find enough information about something, the value of that is what I am willing to pay. I talk about this, one of my favorite, what's the mother-in-law apartment? George was talking about something. Do you know what the mother-in-law apartment is? Does anybody have a mother-in-law? So I will be willing to pay sometimes 50%, 100% more for the apartment next door so that my wife's mother can live there. Is that apartment worth what I paid for it? No, it isn't. But that piece of data can go into the system and suddenly that $100,000 apartment is worth $200,000 because somebody paid $200,000 for it. As an advisor, as an investor, you will need to be able to have the information to throw that one out. When you do statistics, right? You throw out the highest and the lowest so that you come up with the real or close to the real number. So what happens is in real estate professionals, you guys all know your market. So you're smart enough to know when you see that number, there's something wrong with that number. Again, it's not wrong. There's no judgment to what it is. We just know that's what it is, and we factor that into the advice we're giving our clients. And then finally, the data standards. And so we talked about how property and data needs to be electronic. We need to be able to have all of this information in XML, which is, language, so the property language. Again, I don't know this, the technical side, but technical standards, sales and operating data, and information exchange formats, so that the data moves, so that all this data moves. And then finally, we have appropriate regulation. So this, if we're effectively governed, if we have free elections and our governance is good, then how are our regulations? And I talked about yesterday, it took us, they said more than 4 years. It took us 8 or 9 years to get the property law through Parliament, right? So that means that we got a problem in the regulatory situation. We need things to be regulated. So, and then that's the government. We want just enough government, right? We don't want too much regulation, but also we want there to be enough regulation that the market players are held accountable when they misbehave. Going back to that habits of compliance. If the regulations are appropriate, the habits of compliance will be high. If the regulations are inappropriate, the habits of compliance will be very low, and we will have chaos in the market. So we'll read the soft copies of this are available for everyone, so the organizers will make sure that you have a soft copy. Do market participants feel the overall tax rate is fair and participate in formal transactions? Strong. Ghana's tax rates remains the lowest in the sub-region with a high amount of tax exemptions for foreign investments. So this you will see is the overall picture. So the idea is I need to be able to look at, as an investor, very simply, in one instance, I can look at this and already see what? In those sections where the color is not strong, light sections, either what, the sections that are dark, I don't have to worry about those sections. They're strong. The market works. In those sections where the color is not dark, then I need to take precaution in those areas. So what we are going to do in Ghana, I tell you this, I got my 5-year visa. 5 years we've got. So we are going to do this scorecard next year to update it from 2020, and then we are going to come up with recommended interventions. So we're going to say, we're going to pick one thing or two things. Maybe it's property data. Maybe it's the registries. We're just going to pick one or two things, and we're going to recommend interventions and advocacy programs to improve that scorecard just a little bit. Just one thing at a time. So that as that improves, and then 2 years, and then 2 years, and then 2 years, it will improve step by step by step. And therefore, not only will we have done that for Ghana, but we will be able to set this example for all the countries in the region and be leaders so that in 2 years' time, when we're back for the next Congress, we will be able to report our progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bill. At this point, would like to invite some of our exhibitors and sponsors here to tell us a bit about the services and products that they offer to the public and to you, the stakeholders in the real estate industry. We'll start with the State Housing Company. When you come up front, you introduce yourself, your company, and then you tell us about your company and your services. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Juliet MFA Bogla, working with the State Housing Company Limited. State Housing is a company, an agency under the Ministry of Works and Housing. It's 100% government owned. And our mandate is to build for everyone, that's the Ghanaian populace. We have estates across the country in all regions, in all the 16 regions. But in Accra, we have estates at Dansoman, North Kaneshie, Osu, and other places, other first-class residential places. Currently, we're doing a project at Amrahia and Adenta. With our project, we have classes of people we build for. That's the middle, low, and then the high-class people. With the Amrahia project, it's for the low and then the middle income. We are having houses ranging from 2-bedroom houses to 4-bedroom. And then with the Adenta project, that's for the high earner. It's from 2-bedroom to 4-bedroom. Across the country, we are having some in Kumasi, Sunyani, Sefirioso, and then other parts. As a state agency or a company, we have litigation freelance as compared to other places or other companies where people buy their houses and they have a lot of issues. With ours, be assured that it's a government company, so no litigation. Our prices are also affordable. It's moderate. We have flexible payment terms where we negotiate with clients or our customers to pay it in bits till you finish paying. We hand over your keys to you. Our customer service is exceptional because we have in mind our clients, so we take into consideration their suggestions, their opinions, and then their problems. So basically, State Housing builds for everyone, including public servants, and anybody who can afford our houses. Thank you.
Okay, so we now have a rep. We'll now take it from a rep from Loop Ghana, MLS, Loop Ghana. If the rep is here, please be up and then do your company some good up there.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francis Ashom. I'm with the Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association. Here to talk about the MLS. So we have the MLS, and it's been around since 2019, and it's a system we've been using to list properties. So we know of a couple of real estate marketing sites where we can find properties and then buy or make inquiries if we are interested. The MLS is a similar one. The only thing is that this one is a database as well. So MLS simply means multiple listing services. And it's a tool that has been put together, like I said, by GREPA, the association, facilitated by the founders, Mrs. Sampa, and then the leadership. And it's been around for like 2 years. The good thing about this, like I said, is that it's a database that is able to store data, real estate data, for 10 years and more. Apart from being a database, properties that are listed here are not displayed to just the Ghanaian market, but it also syndicates to Realtor.com, which is the biggest real estate marketing platform in the US, which shows properties to countries in all the continents of the world. And so, if you look at what I'm showing, it's not very clear, but it's showing the countries, in all the continents that are represented. And if you go to Africa, where the mouse is, Ghana is covered. And so properties that are listed through the Loop Ghana MLS syndicates directly into the US market, which is realtor.com. And so customers or potential customers outside Ghana, in Canada, US, China, all across the world, are able to see these properties, make inquiries when they are interested for the listing agents or the sellers to pick up those contacts and follow up to convert the inquiries or the leads into sales as much as possible. We have agents who are on a daily basis receiving leads from outside the country and within the country as well. I have done a setup at the back, and I'm available to take anyone who is interested through the platform and how it works. Apart from getting the leads, this MLS platform also, like I said, keeps data for more than 10 years. And so it's also able to help agents to do detailed analysis of what is going on in the market. And so something we have on the platform is the CMA, which is comparative market analysis. And that particular tool, among other functions that the system has, CMA, comparative market analysis, is able to help our agents to do a detailed analysis of what is happening in the market. So for instance, if you are approached, if you are an agent and you are approached by a seller, you are able to do an analysis of how much properties are selling in the market in a particular location. And based on the information you get, you're able to advise the seller on how much or how to price the properties. So the properties are not either priced too high or too low. The same way, if a buyer approached you as an agent and wanted to buy a property, you can use the same function, the same CMA function, to do an analysis of how much properties are selling for in a particular area. And based on that, you can help the buyer have an idea of the budget he or she needs to have to be able to purchase a property in a location he's looking at. And if he or the buyer does not have that amount, then the system provides suggestions as to the other location look at to get cheaper or a much lower property at the budget he or she has. And so the CMA, for instance, is a very important tool that can help agents in the work we do. Apart from CMA, one last thing I would like to talk about before I take my seat is the statistics. This tool also offers listing agents, the agents who put their properties on, the opportunity to see statistics of where people are looking at the properties from, which countries the people are located, how long people stay on the site. It also gives you an idea of even the devices, as detailed as the devices people are using to look at the properties you have listed. And so the tool has so many functions that can help us. We are encouraging all of us who are agents to take advantage of the tool. And like I said, I've set up at the back, and so anyone who needs more details can come to the back, and I'll be willing to take us through. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll take a rep from Real Estate Times. The rep from Real Estate Times. We have 5 minutes each. Please take note of that.
Hi, good afternoon. Let me welcome you to Real Estate Times Africa. And I need to say that we are the official media partners of this great event. We are proud to be with this. In fact, I believe that you've already seen us work here. We've conducted a number of interviews with some of you. With my colleagues and I here, we want to tell you a bit about Real Estate Times Africa. Currently in Ghana, in Africa, we are the only media firm dedicated to the real estate sector. We are in Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, We are currently in Kenya. And in fact, our articles and our publications are worldwide. We have social media platforms and any other thing that has to do with real estate in Ghana and the rest of Africa, you can have it on Real Estate Times Africa. So what we basically do is to provide readers and people who want to know more about the African market and the news on the African market, and also to ensure that the world is educated more from our platforms, and you also get all the information that you need in order for you to access all the other information as other presenters have already made it known. With us as a strong and a young media firm, we seek to partner all stakeholders in the real estate sector and make sure that anything that relates to you is also promoted through our platforms, and so that the world can know what you're doing. To individual companies and firms here, to realtors, professionals, and everybody, we also offer the platform for you to also exhibit what you have, let the world know you. We also offer the platform such that your listings can be accessed through our platform, and the world can also know you. We also give you the opportunity to read the great stuff that we have on the real estate sector. You know that we're not like any other media house that is into general news, basically with real estate sector. And so when it has to do with housing, when it has to do with land, when it has to do with anything, that is what we are providing for you and the rest of the world. We entreat you to visit us on our website, www.realestatetimesafrica. We are on YouTube. We are having our weekly publications via PDF and newspaper prints. And almost all the local airlines have our paper. And so when we talk of reaching out to potential investors and potential real estate people, you know, you are our target. In fact, your targets are reached through us. We also entreat you to visit our social media platforms on Facebook, read more about the real estate sector in Ghana and the rest of Africa. And we are very happy to be here today, being the main media partners for this great show. We are also happy that Greppa's doors are always opened, and that all others who are interested in doing business in the real estate sector can access through us. We also open, our doors are also open, because we you know, as a media firm, we also survive on some of the things that we do for you. So I must say that we'll be knocking at your doors to do more for you, so you also do more for us. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Now we have L City, a rep from L City to tell us about the business. L City. Next, please.
My name is Nane J. Naneria. Call me Naneria. My name is Naneria, and I'm not from L City. I'm from Kanyacom Enterprise. And it's great to see you. You guys are looking wonderful. Please put your hands together for yourselves.
Nanevia, please, there must be a miscommunication. We need to have the exhibitors have their say first, and then you come in, please.
Oh, it's my turn. I've already been registered. So it's a wonderful afternoon. How are you doing?
Can we please have the rep from LCT to do a brief presentation? 5 minutes, as I said. Sorry about the mix-up.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mami Limalabi Frimpong, and I'm one of the executives, sales and marketing executives at L-City. So what exactly is the L-City dream? Well, L-City is actually under the umbrella of L-Empire, and the vision is to have different, pockets of developments in different areas to suit different tastes, different preferences. And basically, L-Empire is saying that we've had the complaints and we're ready to provide solution. Right now, the two developments that are going on is L-City and L-Abode. L-Abode is in the eastern region, is in Manfe, and then L-City, that's right here in Accra, Southeast Airport. We have at L-City the luxury homes for the upper middle class, and then for the high class or the upper class. And then right in the property is also the high-rise apartments for, let's say, the lower middle class and for young families that are doing well financially. One of the things that makes L-City really unique is that it's a little far from the noise, but it's close to everything important. So we have the airport, that's about 12 minutes away. We have the Accra Mall, we have the Palace Mall, that's 10 minutes away. We have the resorts, the Labadi Beach, La Palm. And so while it takes you away from the buzz of the city, it brings you right in the heart of Accra's value. We are about 15 minutes away from Accra Central for those who say that, okay, while there are malls, I'm still traditional enough and I want to walk through the buzz of the center. One other thing is that right in the area of Southeast Airport have been a lot of litigation issues, but L-City understands that every dollar counts, every CD is important. So we will have you put out thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars only to have to deal with court. And so before we actually put mortar to land, we made sure that our documents are intact. So when you move into your home, you know that you're moving into peace. Now, we have an installment plan. So we understand that you may have the money or you may have the means, but maybe you don't want to pay outright. I was talking to somebody yesterday and he said, you know what, if somebody in here or there brings you 200,000 or 300,000, then know that they've probably remortgaged their house and they're bringing you this much cash, you know. So we have the installment plans that will be able to be tailored towards your income, the frequency of your income, and the amount of income that you actually made. Lastly, we have our off plans. That means that while we can change the structure on the outward, inward somebody wants marble, somebody wants granite, somebody wants more wood, somebody wants glass. So when you actually buy at a certain point, we are able to make those changes with you. Because we understand that at a certain point, if you have to part with some money, then for somebody, that's their dream home or their retirement home. And you really want to move into a place that you can breathe and say, okay, I've worked this hard, and this is exactly where I want to be, and this space is exactly what I dreamed of all the years that I was working. Thank you very much for listening to us, and we are hoping that we'll see a lot more of us here. I'll be knocking at your doors, like my colleague said right here, while we are in the conference. Thank you very much for listening. Again, my name is Mami Nima, and I'm from L-City. Thank you.
Thank you from L-City. Next is Net 36 Vista. Caleb is up here to do a brief 5 minutes short and brief presentation on Net 36.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caleb, and I work with the sales and marketing team at Net 36 Vista. A little bit about Net 36 Vista. We're a property investment and management firm with our corporate office situated at Laboni here in Accra. On the average, If you decide to build incrementally in Ghana, it's going to take you about 10 to 15 years. Not only is it tedious and time-consuming, but inflation over that period means that you probably even spend more than you anticipated in the beginning. And so that is why the guys at Net 36 Vista, with over 15 years in the real estate industry, have decided to come up with this novel project called Lakeside Village. The plan is to build 500 townhouses within the Lakeside community. Currently, we are developing our first phase of 24 units. All of them are 3-bedroom townhouses. They come with a living area. You've got an open plan kitchen. You've got a dining area. You've got a master bedroom that measures 15 by 18, which is quite impressive. And you've got 2 12 by 12 rooms as well. In addition to that, you've got an 8 by 30 backyard garden. Our payment plan is structured in such a way that you just need 10% to have 1 foot within the property. Now, for the types of buyers, we're looking at first-time home buyers, we're looking at flip investors, we're looking at buy-to-let investors. Our starting price is $86,000. On completion, it's going to jump to $175,000, which means that if you bought a unit now, you can flip it on completion for $175,000. And the good thing is that you don't have to hire an agent to do that. The developer is going to do all of that for you. A few benefits of living in gated communities. So if you're living, if you're living in a gated community, you get to train your kids very well, which you wouldn't get in a non-gated community. You also have the advantage of doing business and networking right within the community. Again, at Lakeside Village, because of Net 36 Vista's credibility as property managers, we've been able to consolidate all the pain points of our previous clients into this project. And so you can expect the best in terms of quality of design. You can expect the best in terms of the quality of living within that area. Our stand is located right here, the very first thing on your right. When you enter the expo area, you can come around for more information. Thank you very much.
Very much, Caleb, from Net 36 Vista. Next is JL Properties. JL Properties.
I like to bother him a lot. Caleb, did you just say that you don't have to hire an agent to do that for you? Can you read a theme? You have to do better. We want to optimize. Okay? So you can sell by yourself, but you can also use agents, and that's optimizing all the resources that you have available.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Vicky.
So the next is JL Properties. Thank you very much, Caleb. JL Properties represented by Rose.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rose Johnny from JL Properties. I'm the Assistant Marketing Manager of JL Properties. JL Properties is a leading real estate company providing valuable homes for potential customers. And we are located in Achimota, just behind the Achimota Golf Course. We have about 9 locations in prime locations in Accra, across Accra. We provide residential units for potential customers who are looking to start life in the hustle and bustle of Accra. We have flexible payments as well. Anybody looking to settle in Accra should come to JL Properties. We started with just 2 houses to becoming the biggest inner city developers in West Africa. Some of our locations are Achimota, East Airport, East Legon, Wages, Sakumono, and then our biggest enclave by far is Achimota, just behind Achimota Mall, Lindsay Gardens. We are building over 500 units, and it ranges from 2-bedroom houses to 5-bedroom houses. So yes, that is JL Properties for you. Thank you very much.
That was really short and sweet. Thank you very much, JL Properties. Now we go on to Ghana Property Tours. Isaac Osaikisi will be the one doing the 5-minute presentation. Isaac Osaikisi from Ghana Property Tours.
All right, thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Isaac Osaikisi from Ghana Property Tours. So what we do is very simple but fascinating. We provide the technology to help clients take immersive 360-degree walkthrough of any property in Ghana. So when you look at it, there are clients that are typically maybe outside of the country. They can't be here physically to make a decision on a property that they want to buy. So you take them through an immersive, I will give you a link. We go to your property one time, we take the images, and then we provide you an embed code that you can put on your website or a naked link that you can send to your client. And your client just sits in the comfort of their office or in their room in, say, upstate New York, and then they're able to walk through the property and make a decision whether that property is for them or not. Not only that, I kept hearing some of the pricing options for most of the developers that they provide installment payments, right? So maybe you pay over a period of 2-3 years or over a period of a year, and then your property is completed. So we also provide solution for that as well. So assuming your client is in Dallas, Texas, and is committed $50,000 or $200,000 for the completion of a property that probably may end up being about $800,000. What they want most is transparency because of the monies that are coming out. So what we do is that we can also provide construction progress tracking for them so that at every interval, maybe every quarter, we come in, we do the, we take the shots, and then we upload it to a server. Then they can actually sit in the comfort of their home as well, and then be able to walk through the work that has been done so far. That gives them comfort, that makes them rest easy. So that's one of them. And actually, coincidentally, I was having a chat with George right after his presentation this morning, which was absolutely amazing about price and value. And he just told me that, look, when he was at DevTraco Plus, really, they used virtual tours to sell properties from zero to completion, and it was amazing. He says the results were phenomenal. And one of the things that he was even fascinated more about was the ability to even track the traffic that was coming in, where the clients were coming in from, the number of clicks and everything. We can do all of that. And we can also embed lead generation codes onto your tours as well, so that once somebody comes in and sees your tour from any part of the world, and they enter information about themselves, that information gets emailed to you immediately. That becomes a hot lead that you can follow up with. And so I could go on and on and on, but one of the key things, is it done? Okay. So basically, we are available with Ghana Property Tours. We'll be more than happy to talk to you for your projects. Thank you so much, and I apologize for the time.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Now is the turn of the Study Center. Lillian Esiedu will do the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lillian Esiedu from the Study Center, Ghana. So the Study Center is an international education consultancy which offers assistance to students interested in studying in an international community, be it Canada, USA, Australia, Russia, Ukraine, name it. So our services include educational and guidance, educational and career counseling, guidance on university selection, guidance on college admission and your scholarship essays as well, college, university application, and placement, visa counseling, guidance on writing personal statements for Canada, scholarship and financial aid assistance, pre-departure and arrival services, and basically travel assistance. So we get people coming asking, they probably have an admission from a school, and then they want assistance with a visa application. So we help with that as well. And then for USA, their major intake is January and February, which is for spring. And for fall is August, September, and summer is May and April. For Canada, same as well. So come to the study center. You won't be disappointed. In this era where there are a lot of fraudsters, a lot of scammers, because we get complaints, people come in and they ask, how genuine are we? How can we tell that we are very genuine? For one, I'm a product of the study center, been to Canada and I'm back, and I'm working with the study center. So for anything at all, you can use me as a testimony. I'll assure you the study center is one of the best study abroad companies that you can have around. We are out there, so you can visit our booth, and there are a wide variety of schools that we have partnered with. So most of the time, if it comes to maybe your IELTS that you have to write, your GRE or GMAT, we're able to get them to waive it off because we are partners with them. So come to the study center and you'll be disappointed. We are located at Jolu, opposite Perez Chapel. You can also visit our website, www.thestudycentergh.com. Visit our Facebook site and our Instagram site as well. It is all the Study Center Ghana. Thank you very much. My name is Lillian.
Thank you very much, Lillian. Cyril Assem would represent Aka Kappa, if I got that one right. Cyril, you're up next, and then followed by Cone Makeup.
I hope everybody's doing well today. Perfect. Okay, my name is Cyril Assem. I'm the Business Development Executive for Aka Kappa Limited. We are located in the airport residential area, quite close to the GIZ office, if you happen to know there. Okay, so basically Aka Kappa is a real estate firm, and I can divide our service offering into three main features. We do sales and lettings, that is sourcing for residential, commercial, and industrial type properties for individuals and organizations. So we're talking apartments, townhouses, standalone houses, office spaces, warehouses, even container yards we're able to provide for certain organizations. Lands, definitely. I guess that will cover the sales side of things. That with respect to sourcing for, again, individuals, organizations. When it comes to our sales and portfolio management and property management, we manage the properties or the investments of individuals, again, of organizations, where in this particular case, we ensure that whatever investments you've done, especially if you made a purchase through us, you maximize for the best profitability. So that will come to the marketing aspect of things, marketing to ensure that you have constant tenancy, marketing to ensure that you have the right kind of tenant, not one who necessarily, quote-unquote, mess you up. Then we're coming to the, I guess, the property management side of things, where we ensure that you don't have tenants blowing up your phone, my this is spoiled, my that is spoiled. We handle all of that. We encourage that the tenants call us. We like them to blow up our phones. We handle all the maintenance issues with regards to repairs or upgrades that they need. And then, yes, again, we handle all of that, so we ensure that you don't have the stress of having to deal with tenant troubles. Being a tenant myself, I know how troublesome we can get, so again, we cover all of that for you. And then finally, we come to the construction consultancy type sector of things, where we are looking at the design stage. If you are an individual or a developer looking at doing a project or even just upgrading your home on a personal level, you come in, We can do the design for you, show you the best way to maximize your space for, I guess, the best results with respect to time, with respect to cost. Again, after the design stage, then we come to project management or quality control, where we're looking at, especially for developers, where you have someone on site constantly, ensuring that the project is being done to the right specifications, the time is managed in the right way, and then your cost is cut down. We always advise clients to come to us, especially for construction consultancy, because what we've come to realize is, especially for individuals, you're saying, okay, oh, this is just a minor upgrade, or this is just a 3-bedroom house that we are building. It wouldn't take too much, I guess, expertise to get it done. You get a few, quote-unquote, Coffee and Sons construction to do the project for you, and you end up having to bear longer-term costs because of work that wasn't done in the right way. So we handle that consultancy type of aspect of things, ensure that is handled with the right quality. We manage the project from start to finish so that it's managed as done in the right times with the proper costs involved as you were in the conception stage. So basically, these are our service offerings: sales and lettings, property management, as well as construction consultancy. Those are the 3 main areas we cover. In addition, we have investment options for individuals looking at getting into the real estate investment market. So we've partnered with some key developers in the city and key developments to ensure that once you get in early to purchase a project or purchase a unit in a project, we manage the unit for you, and then we market it. So in the end, you have all the services that you require from a real estate company under one roof. And we are the real estate experts. You should always talk to us when you need our services. I'm right outside there, outside the first door. You see me sitting there. You can walk up to me. We can have a discussion about how we can service you or your organization. And yes, that's basically us, Akakapa Ghana. You can find us online, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that. We have people on deck to answer your every question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Cyril. Lastly, we call on Cone Makeup to give us a 5-minute short presentation on their services. Cone Makeup.
Hello, good afternoon. I believe you're all doing well. My name is Ebenezer Boache, and I'm the General Manager for Cone Makeup Ghana. Cone is basically distributed in Ghana by Martha's Beauty Supply. And someone will ask, what is Cone doing at real estate program? And what I would say is that almost every lady here has makeup on, at least a mascara, a lipstick, or something. So it's very necessary for us to be present at this very occasion. And Cone is a German brand, and we are the only brand in the world that has developed a skin color matrix for the whole world. So with us, once you are getting Cone, you are getting a product that is matching your skin perfectly. So we have shades, over 110 shades for every skin tone across the globe. Our products are vegan, they are cruelty-free, paraben-free, and works perfectly for your skin. Basically, we have, currently in Ghana, we have foundations, concealers, and the most basic products you will need for your skin. So in Accra, we are located in East Legon, around American House, and currently we are running a free makeup sampling in our studios, and outside the booth, when you get out, we are just at the extreme end. You can come in and try the products for free, so that we can test for your skin match perfectly. So I would encourage each and every one, our beautiful ladies, and our men also here, you can get Cone for your wives. You can show us the picture of your wife, and we will go through our skin color matrix and predict a perfect match for her. So it's for everybody. If you don't like the makeup your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend is using, don't worry. You will get a perfect match for you. Or we've had guys who are coming in buying makeup to surprise their wives and girlfriends. So it's for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, we have Mr. Richard Mantho, who is representing Oriel Ghana. He's also the president of GREPA. So for that privilege, I'll give you 10 minutes.
GREPA, not Greta.
Oh, I didn't say Greta. Maybe
Hello.
the P was silent.
Okay.
Please, the next presentation. Oh, where's mine? So the next presentation is by Dr. Michael Boedi Nyamiche, Building a Real Estate Brand Identity. Personally, I feel this is a topic that will really affect our business. So I'll implore all of you to please hold on and let's listen to that presentation before we go for lunch. Also, we have a cocktail after everything today. And again, I'll implore you to wait, enjoy the cocktail, do some more networking, and let's sell more. Thank you.
He cannot walk. We can take them.
Is working?
He is the president, so the last one.
Okay, no problem.
He is going to represent Abri Properties. Come on.
Thank you very much. Nanasa Iberiako. My name is Kwabena Duse Piasa. A lot of you know me as Ohene. And I am with Abri Consult USA and Abri Properties Ghana. We are also the managing consultants for GREPA. And so we have been putting all of this together for you. Abri Properties, we are into brokerage and property management. And also the managing consulting firm for the management of the Ghana MLS. I want all of us to establish the network that we have begun properly, and also with Abri, because we are the best known for GREPA, and we are the best property brokerage firm in Ghana. So do business with us. Thank you very much. Natasha?
So that is Kwabena Piasa. Let me then give it to the president of GREPA, Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association.
I think the mic is working here.
Then take it.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm coming to present Oriel Ghana. It's a real estate brokerage firm, and we are property consultants. So when it comes to real estate and brokerage, we focus more on advising our clients. Apart from showing properties and then selling, we focus more on advising. It's like a developer wanted to do a project maybe in cantonment, right? We will tell him what he should do in that area, right? Because it's not because you have the money, then you have to come and say, okay, I'm doing some story building, 10th floor, and all this stuff in this particular area. So we do a lot of research on the market, and then we help you to do the right project that will bring the right client so that you won't struggle to sell or to rent. So I think you guys should contact Oriel because we're kind of the best in town. Okay, so that's what I have to do and to say about Oriel Ghana. Right? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Richard. Next, our next speaker, that's the main speaker for this afternoon before we go for lunch. It's in the person of Dr. Michael Boedi Nyamiche. Let me read a bit about him. He's going to talk about building a real estate brand identity. Now, Dr. Michael Boedi Nyamiche is a consummate marketing expert, a trained pilot, a preacher, teacher, Christian leader, and furthermore, founder and general overseer of Makers House Chapel International. With a strong interest in academia, Dr. Boedi Nyamiche holds 2 doctorate degrees in business administration and marketing. He also holds a couple of master's degrees in diverse fields. He lectures at the Graduate School of the University of Professional Studies, that's UPSA, specifically in strategic management, entrepreneurial development, and marketing. He has authored 3 books and a devotional. Dr. Nyameche sits on the boards of several companies and consults for many more. He's not in yet. I'm told he'll be in a jiffy. Whilst we do that, I think that we just take a short musical interlude whilst we interact with amongst ourselves. Give us a bit, let's say about 5-10 minutes, he'll be here. Can we have some music, some cool jazz music whilst we interact amongst ourselves and wait for Dr. Wedi Nyameche, who is the main speaker for this afternoon, after which we would go for our lunch break.